episode of our program, Daily Debate. As usual, we will be discussing a contentious debate. Today we'll be discussing the Energy and Development Conference that kicked off today in Luxor. Of course, Egypt represents the region's most populated energy market and is the largest oil and gas consumer in the continent. It is also an important non-OPEC fossil fuel producer and plays a vital role in international energy trade. The country is facing rapidly growing energy demand due to population, of course, growth and economic expansion and increased industrial output, among other factors. For three reasons, the government aims to diversify the energy mix in favor of renewable energy resources and has set a target to achieve 20% of generated electricity from renewable energy by 2020. In light of this growing demand, Minister of Tourism Yahya Rashid inaugurated on Monday in Luxor a three-day conference entitled Renewable Energy and Sustainable Development, also the way to support tourism in Upper Egypt. Rashid said that choosing Luxor to host the conference is of great significance to support tourism in Upper Egypt, which has the biggest and greatest humanitarian and civil heritage in the human history. Of course, the importance, the benefits, the objectives of renewable energy and sustainable development, as well as the role in enhancing tourism, all this we'll be discussing later on in our episode. Before we proceed on into discussion of this topic, we have two important headlines of the day, where President Fattah al-Sisi met with ministers of public business sector and international cooperation. The President met with Minister of Public Business Sector Ashraf al-Sharqawi on the ministry's plan to reform public business sector. During the meeting, President Sisi directed to help the insolvent companies to recover and to reshuffle these companies to get back on track to achieve profits. The President had earlier met with Minister of International Cooperation, Dr. Sahar Nasr, where they discussed the ministry's efforts to financially support the economic reform plan and to expand the social protection networks. He stressed during the meeting on the importance of supporting the small and medium enterprises and to open new horizons for the work of the youths. I guess to highlight those two meetings and the significance of these meetings, we have with us over the phone Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, the Secretary General of the Arab Investors Union. Good evening to you, sir.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you very much. We're speaking about two important meetings the President held today with the Minister of the Public Business Sector, Ashraf al-Sharqawi, and with the Minister of International Cooperation, Sahar Nasr. In both meetings, the President have illustrated first on how to put the companies or the public or the state-owned companies into a track and how to reform them to get back into their tracks. And with Dr. Sahar Nasr, he spoke about a reform plan for economy and a social protection network. First, let's speak about reforming the state-owned companies and how important is such a step.
This is very important because we have a huge capital invested in the public sector. And unfortunately, after the public sector made tremendous efforts previously, 20 years ago, now it is a sort of a place where we put disguised unemployment. It's full of workers without having the chance to really each one produce what he should produce. Also, because of the budget deficit in each of these companies, to renew its machines and its articles, it's very difficult now in order to bring them back to work and to be productive. It's not a secret that most of the public sector companies is losing money because they are taking the burden of employing much more than they need. So a reform should go to two targets. First, to make the employment possible to the level understandable of these companies. Second, to renew its machines and its production plans in order to come back to production. And it's not, by the way, it's not an easy task. And we have a lot of research with the help of EU, with the help of many donors, in order to bring back this sector, very important sector, to be a productive one.
Right.
The second meeting with Dr. Sahar Nasr is complementary to this, because we need finance. And at this stage of our economic reform, we succeeded to get the huge finance of the IMF with $12 billion. And also we succeeded to get another $9 billion from different institutions and friendly countries. Now Sahar Nasr is doing another effort with the African Bank for Development and the World Bank, in order to support the small projects, in order to make available more and more ways of employment for the young people who do not yet being employed anywhere.
Yes.
And to finance this is very important, and it's one of an eminent part of our economic reform nowadays.
2 days ago, the president held a meeting, a cabinet meeting, and actually it was a broad one. It was with the Prime Minister, the Minister of Defense, Interior, Investment, Trade and Industry. It was a very large one, but one of the important items that was tackled was investment. And the president has given his instruction for facilitating all the obstacles and giving an incentive program for investments in order to satisfy the local investors, plus be able to attract the FDIs or the foreign direct investments. How do you view this meeting instructions, and how significant is it to put an incentive program in order to be able to really attract the foreign direct investments, plus satisfy the local investors?
Of course, it's very important, because it gives a good message to the foreign investors that investment in Egypt is tackled by the highest level of Egypt's political system, that the president himself is asking about investment, that he is chairing the higher commission for investment. So nothing can be stopped if the president is there. This is one thing. Where is the problem? Lately, I was hosting some European investors and even parliamentaries, and we asked them, what is the problem coming to Egypt? They said, we are not experts in Egypt, but generally in the third world, bureaucracy is a big headache. And here, the good news on our side that we are now taking decisions at one-stop shop for the investors. Anyway, to make this story easier, investors is asking you how much I will spend of time from the day I put my money, initial money in the bank, till I get the first dollar as profit. And are you going to allow me to send this profit abroad? Are you going to make it available? What is the rate of exchange in your country? And now comes the huge step taken by the government, by the economic reform and the exchange rate reform. It is a very good step, but let me be frank and say it came 2 years late. It should have been done before that. That's why we are paying much more price. But in the immediate term, in the medium term, I think it will take its way. We shall export more. Export more means more investment, because if we export, then the investor would come to produce these sort of exports in order to make more profits. So
and more foreign currency.
By using trade and investment, we are creating jobs. And here it comes the whole idea about what we are doing.
Yes, very much indeed. Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, the Secretary General of the Arab Investors Union, we thank you very much for joining us, delving to our story of the day or our discussion of the day. And before proceeding on with our discussion, let's take this report, Renewable Energy and Sustainable Development, the way to support tourism in Upper Egypt. Let's watch the conference and come back for discussion.
Under the auspices of Prime Minister Sharif Ismail and with the attendance of Minister of Tourism Luxor and Qina governors and a number of two officials, Luxor witnessed on Monday the inauguration of a conference entitled Renewable Energy and Sustainable Development, the way to support tourism in Upper Egypt. Chairman of the conference, Dr. Ali Radwan, said that the gathering aimed to attract more Arab and foreign investments in the field of renewable energy and to encourage and push forward the green tourism sector in Egypt. The conference also focuses on the available investment opportunities in the solar energy field, encouraging tourism in Upper Egypt's sites such as Luxor and Aswan, as well as expanding the usage of solar energy inside the pharaonic temples and tombs in a way that preserves the carving and colors. Dr. Radwan also reiterated the importance of the conference in enhancing tourism in Luxor and stressed the significance of the private sector's role in collaboration with the concerned ministers to achieve sustainable development in line with the strategy of Egypt's Vision 2030, which was launched by President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. For his part, Minister of Tourism Yahya Rashid said that the conference is of special importance where it's considered a link between the renewable energy and sustainable development and paves the way for grooming the tourism sector in Upper Egypt. Rashid also pointed out that the state's great interest in green tourism, which is supported by the ministry, and made reference to the Egyptian tourist industries, are now operating under the umbrella of green tourism in Sharm el-Sheikh and other Egyptian cities. Governor of Luxor, Dr. Mohammed Badr, said that the city is taking steps towards shifting to a green city through the establishment of 4 plants to generate solar power, as well as lighting a number of vital installations and streets in Luxor using renewable energy.